Hip Hop Zone Radio. This is your man, Bless the Party Sparker. What's hood?
It's your boy Jada Pro. What's good? Hey, Courtney.
Are you still in love with me, Jay?
And we continuing on.
Look at that. How quickly we
don't do that.
digress.
Don't do that, Dice. Don't be no blocker.
I ain't blocking. Hey, Black Love, I love to see it.
Hey, you know what it is, yo.
See how my African teeth are shining in the dark?
All of you is shining. All of you is shining. Yes.
Yo, but this is Wealth Wednesday.
Yes, it is.
Yes, we digress just a little bit, but it's all good. You know what I mean? We're talking about, do you know your history? And that being equated to generational wealth.
General too.
But there's a, you know what I'm saying? We all know, there's a lot of people in our, you know what I'm saying, in our community, we starting from behind the starting line. You know what I mean? So we don't have the resources, the building blocks that a lot of other cultures do. You know what I mean? But one thing I'd like to bring up, because shout out to Lotus. She was speaking on, she's a refugee. She came, you know what I'm saying? She's living the American dream. You know what I mean? A lot of other cultures feel like, yo, we came here with nothing. What is wrong with y'all? Y'all been here for a while. You know what I mean? Anybody want to speak on that?
I mean, you're talking about us being behind the starting line, the resources. Now, when you speak on refugees, you're speaking on people that already have a culture intact before they come here, right? One of the things Lotus told us was that her family would not let her speak English in the home. What languages do any of us know other than English?
Other than the language of our oppressor.
Regardless, we don't know nothing else. If we could speak Pig Latin, it'll help create a culture within itself, but we don't. Our culture is created through Ebonics. And they shun that to make it seem like it's not even something real when it really is.
Okay.
It's a department in the FBI that deciphers Ebonics. It's its own language. But we so caught up in trying to
assimilate
ourselves, fit in with everybody else, that we won't accept our own culture.
Okay. Di, you got something to say about that? Look like you came off of mute.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with Jada Pro said about that. You know what I mean? But I'll take it even a step further too, and that is the structure of the American caste system does not allow us to climb the ladder willingly, where it would allow a refugee of a other color a higher position in the caste just off rip. So they still starting ahead of us, even though we've been here longer.
In what way?
Whites accept Asians quicker than they accept blacks. So an Asian can come over here. And I'm not saying that Asians don't have issues. I'm saying the level of the caste system allows Asians to assimilate easier into and be accepted by whites into their culture quicker than it would an individual that was black and born here.
Okay.
Let an Asian go for a loan. Let an Asian go for a loan. They're gonna get it quicker than anybody black would. Being like, if you want to talk about purchasing a home, which is the building block of generational wealth, right? It's the first step in generational wealth.
Go ahead, Lotus.
I disagree. You knew I was going to say something.
That's why I got you. Go ahead.
I know, because like when we came, we didn't have anything. And to me, we arrived, we got, what was it? Green card? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my older siblings worked and they made sure we were able to go to school. And we came in and lived what? in an apartment with 1 bathroom, 2 bedroom, 12 people. So, like
So-
you say, you
But y'all had a
Asians,
foundation of y'all culture, though.
Hold
That's
up,
what
Jay.
we're
Hold
but
up,
saying.
it's
Jay.
not
Hold up,
just
Jay. Hold up,
culture,
Jay.
because
Go ahead.
Asians, you got to break it down to different culture. Like the Vietnamese have different ways, the Chinese,
Well-
they break it down.
Hold up,
Like,
Jay. Go ahead.
and then you're saying like it's just the culture. It's just not that. You got to break it down to the family too.
No,
Because
that's
I
not
know
what I'm.
there's a lot of Asian
Jay,
people
stop.
that are
Hold up.
struggling, and they are bad. Like I don't like triad bad, I guess. I don't know,
wanna say
mafia style.
I want to say this. And Jay, you can go after this, and I think Dice might have something to say. Of
I'm
course.
gonna wait on everybody else.
But my thing is this. I completely agree with what Di was saying, because, and with what Jay was saying, as far as us being behind the starting block, you know what I mean, as Black people. And there's certain intricacies that are put in place to prevent us from making a positive step forward. You know what I'm saying? So that is true. At the same time, now, I do have to say, there are certain things that I've seen that Black people are not willing to do, such as, you know what I'm saying? Lotus was just speaking on it, and I've seen it personally, where there's a lot of people that come from, you know what I'm saying, overseas, and they're sleeping 8-10 people in a 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom or a studio. You know what I'm saying? In order to basically help that next wave of people, or that, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the times it's not even their direct family. You know what I'm saying? So I do see that in other cultures that I don't see in Black people, in order to get that, in order to make that shit happen. So
But that goes back to what I was saying, and then you're bringing in another point when you talk about poverty, and third world countries, and relative poverty versus, new world poverty. It's a big difference. It is a culture in place, whether you want to say it's from Laos or Vietnam or Mandarin China. They all have a culture. You could be from El Salvador. You have a culture when you come to this country that we don't have. And the reason why we're behind the ball is because, one, that if they did nothing to us right from the time slavery ended, we would still have problems, because we're so removed from who we are as a culture and who we are as family. That's the biggest problem we have. It ain't that Black people don't do things or don't want to do things. One is, if the tree is being burned from the root, what's going to happen to the top of the tree is going to die. You know what I mean? So if you're telling Black kids, if you're looking at Black kids and you're wondering why they won't work the same way Asians work, well, one, it's been put in our head that we were slaves for 400 years. So pardon us if we don't want to work like that. It's a big difference. It's a big difference if you take me, an American, and drop me off in China. I'm gonna work just like the Chinese do when they come to America.
and one other point that Lotus made, a big difference, is you did say, yeah, there's different parts. You know what I'm saying? You can be from Taiwan, you can be Cambodian, you can be this. We just Black.
We just Black.
We don't know who we are beyond that.
We're not just calling y'all Asian. We're not just saying y'all Asian. Y'all have specific cultures identifying y'all differently from each other. We don't have that.
Go ahead, Dice.
Okay. First, understand this. The whole structure of America was built on race. Was on, some people call it classism, but this is where racism actually began at, was here in America. When you structure a country to have one group of people at the bottom, when it comes to finances, institutions, schooling, hospitals, stealing technology, this is how America was built. All right. So yes, when your people came over, they may have had nothing. But the difference is there is no system in place to keep you from not having anything, right? You have access to the possibility of working your way from the bottom up, that quote unquote, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, which is bullshit, right? How do you pull yourself up by the bootstraps when you don't have on any boots? And when you do develop something such as Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Rosewood, the oppressor comes and burns it to the ground because you're outdoing them. Understand how the dominant society thinks. It's like NASCAR. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. They have no intention of running a fair and square race where everybody starts at the beginning and may the best man win. If they did it like that, they would stand no shot against us, right? The point is to keep us as cogs in the wheel so we can continue to purchase and supply them with income and with money. That's the difference.
Okay.
And that's kind of
Good
what I was alluding to when I said the way the structure of the caste system of America is built to keep us on the bottom. Now let's go deeper, right? And I said it keeps you from buying a house. That's number one in the thing. But if you can't buy a house, they're also not going to give you a business loan.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they'll give you a loan to go to school though.
Right. They're not going to, but let's I want to like dig into this. And I know it's not going to be as specific as Lotus might want, but it'll paint a general picture, I believe, by the time it's all said and done. And that is this: 9 times out of 10, or at least from my vantage point, most Asians, when they get here, already have somebody in place that owns some type of business. And that is how the 12 of y'all can live in a house and automatically get a job and start working to build, because you was allowed to have. I'm saying most. I'm not saying all.
It's not
I'm
even
saying most. All right.
It's a
front. It's a front. Like, you don't know. Like, you see some Asians have Mercedes, but guess what? They're starving at home. They're in more debt than you think because they don't want to lose face.
All right,
and they pretend that they can pay the bill.
I know this.
But they're struggling.
Though. I know I can walk into a Black community at any given time and find an Asian hair spot and an Asian restaurant quicker than I can.
You know why? They go toward people that they know will go toward their services.
Because they're allowed to own that business to begin with. That's the point I'm trying to make.
But you know who they borrow the money from? They borrow money from all their friends. They're like, hey, I'll borrow and I'll pay you back this way. Use credit cards. It's investment. They act around.
That's not true.
Versus banks. I'm telling you, it's true.
When some immigrants come here,
I'm an immigrant, honey.
I know this is what an immigrant told me. He said because he came from certain countries, they get a $10,000 non-payable stipend from the U.S. government. That's the reason.
Because I came in 1980. Like, the new generations that come in, they're super spoiled.
Well, I'm just saying this brother owned a corner store in my hood for at least 20 years. And I asked him, I'm like, how do you stay relevant? How do you 90% of most businesses fail within the first 2 years. He says, because I have a brother, he comes over. When he comes over, he has a 12-month visa. He gets a $10,000 stipend from the government. And he take that money and reinfuse it into the business. Black people don't get that. They have access to capital that we don't have.
I was not part of it. I came in 1980. We didn't have any of that.
Okay.
Again, wait, but again, see, you're
each person is different. You don't know what state. Each state gives different stipend. I don't know. We were not one of those.
All right, you're personalizing it.
Yeah.
And regardless of how they got it, even like you said, if they didn't go to the bank and get it, which they'll get a loan quicker than a Black person at the bank, they got it from their friends. Black people's friends haven't had a chance to build like that. So we're in a constant bind where there's nobody to turn to get money or create jobs. So you say, like, you can go to the projects any given time and see 9, 10 people in a bedroom as well, just like how y'all did. But you know what? Those 9, 10 people don't have the access to gainful employment the same way any other culture does. Point blank, period.
You think about the jobs and then how you say priorities. Like, I'm stereotyping here. Okay, you're gonna get mad at me. Like, I'm gonna say, like,
ain't no mad. We all having an adult conversation.
Like, okay, for Black female, you know how much it costs to get their hair done?
Oh, most definitely.
Asians, you're gonna cut your own hair in a rice bowl haircut to save money, or let it grow long. Nails, you think about it, they get it done. Just like my Hispanic friends, they got to get their nails done every week or every 2 weeks. Asians don't. They've been like, oh, well, my nail's going to have to suffer.
But you know what that goes back to? That goes back to what was James saying about culture, right? Because we've been taught to integrate into white society. We do things to look like them because we're trying to fit in.
Oh, Asians do too. We were taught to assimilate. You think about it.
This is true.
You talk this way, you go this way, because like when I go overseas, they don't call me Asian. They call me you're a foreigner, Falang, which means you're a foreigner. Like when I go overseas, my relatives over there, they're like, you're an American, you're fat. I said, yeah, I know. You're dark. I said, yeah, I know.
Wow.
Let me
Use
dark.
bleaching cream.
That's deep. Go ahead.
Let me
I
do
don't
this too.
care.
Let me
Like-
touch on something. This will bring the culture thing into play because I'm not, listen, you make a very valid point, and that was going to be later on in my conversation. In the fact of this, here's what separates Blacks from other cultures as well. See, it's two main points. Always remember this: you came here because you wanted to. We were forced here. That's a totally different mentality right there. So I'm not even gonna get into that. But we all here now, right? So we're all here. But
I'm
here's
grateful,
the thing.
yeah.
Here's the thing. In order to build generational wealth, to bring it full circle for you, Bless, right? One generation has to be willing to take the L. They have to be willing to take the L and be like, yo, my life is gonna suck, but you know what? I'm gonna make sure my kid's life is better. And all other cultures, most of the time when they come here, the parents, whoever came here, they came here willing to take the L because the L here in America is still a win compared to wherever they came from.
That's a
right.
good point.
So their perspective on the L is different as well. But when you've been handed L's I'm speaking on the Black community, you've been handed L's since you've been here. You only know what you know, right? And it takes somebody that is willing to take that L to be like, all right, I'm gonna take the L so my kids can get better. And then you run into the roadblock of systematic racism, where even if you're willing to take the L, they're not willing to give you the tools that you need to buy a house, to set your kids up straight, to create to create funds, certain funds that you can leave to your children. You're so spent in the circle of just being able to feed your children versus being able to build something for them. And until you're able to change the chess game and let the Black side go on the initiative and the attack instead of the defense, you're never able to change that. So this is a multi-pronged problem when you look at it that way. Because I know plenty of people that would be willing to take that L. And I know plenty of people that be like, nah, I ain't taking no L. I'm living my life and da-da-da-da-da. I mean, they like Damian Marley said, like you buy a Benz, but you don't have a house to park it.
Yep.
So you gotta really see all angles, because even if you take somebody that says, yeah, I'm ready to do this, I want to do this, I'm gonna get this house, they could have a decent job and be able to pay it. But you know what they can't afford? That higher interest rate that comes along with the predatory lending of the banks.
Every
I'm gonna say
time
this
we
real
figure out
quick.
the game, they change the rules.
Yep.
And that's
Or they
real.
push the
I'm gonna say
goalpost.
this. I'm gonna say this real quick. It's funny because my mother left us a house when she passed away. Left us 2 houses actually. And you would be surprised how many text messages and calls I get daily about selling her property for cash.
Bro, don't you ever sell those houses, man. Because
Hey,
you know
can I
what?
tell y'all something?
They print new money every Tuesday, but you know one thing they don't make more of? Land.
What would y'all think about a job you work and they played a video telling you it don't make sense to buy a house?
Sounds retarded to me.
Thank you. Okay.
Exactly. They trying to tell us not to. You know what I
Which
mean?
tells you
Not trying. They are telling you.
They
not
are
to.
telling
no
us
try.
not.
There's no
You know what
try
I mean?
with that.
So, and that's a big thing right there. So, and we gonna come back right after this break, but I do think there's a difference, you know what I mean? But I do understand why other people may not see that difference if they're not inside, you know what I mean? If they're not, they don't get a chance to see that, from within. So It is what it is. Hit us up. Let us know what y'all think. Hip Hop Zone Radio. It's your man, Bless the Party Sparker.
It's your boy Jay the Pro.
You know what it is, y'all. Wealth Wednesdays. Right here, power357radio.com. You're moving your music around the globe. My bad. I had to keep it locked.
And across the fader.
Keep it locked, y'all.